We've got big news, folks.
The biggest.
Watch this video.
It was roughly 10 days after Sully was born we received the news that he would without a doubt require a kidney transplant early in his life. When we heard that, it felt surreal, like a story for the fiction section, something you only hear about but not our reality. After navigating through a whirlwind of emotions, here we are, getting closer and closer to the end of this chapter. Or maybe it's better seen as the blessing waiting at the end of what we have come to see as an amazing journey. We're absolutely thrilled to share that Taylor will be donating one of her kidneys to our son, Sully. Now, I have a lot to say about this, but I'll just say this. I've never been blessed with anything greater than my wife. She's been steadfast and obedient to God through one of the hardest seasons of life a person can go through. She has not taken even one step away from our marriage, our son, or Jesus. And to top it all off, she's giving our son new life. I'd say I'm pretty lucky.
So now you guys know that I get to give Sully a kidney. I really kind of thought, based on how things were going, this was not going to be an option. But I'm really excited. And so when we announced this on our Instagram, we asked just some questions people have, because if you're anything like we were, you know nothing about kidney transplants. And so we thought we'd answer some of those questions and then just kind of talk about how we're feeling and how things are going. Billy hasn't seen these questions yet either. So first question, isn't your kidney too big for him?
No, it's not. That's actually a really good question, because it doesn't make sense. I remember when we first heard about him getting a transplant, I thought it was going to be from another baby, which was really sad to think about.
This is probably the most asked question, I'd say, too. Mm-hmm. Is like, is it too big? Do they give baby kidneys, or adults? Yeah, all that. But no, they only transplant adult kidneys into babies, toddlers. There's no living kidney donors.
Under 18.
Under 18.
Yeah.
And also, if you transplant a kidney, I don't know if like the science is conclusive on if that kidney's gonna like grow as Sully grows.
Yeah.
So like then you'd have a baby kidney in like a 12-year-old and you'd still be having that kidney function. But they do, a lot of the times they do what's called a nephrectomy, so they're gonna take out like his old kidneys to make room. And then they put the kidney in the front instead of in the back because there's more room. This is also the reason why we're not doing the surgery yet, because he's not big enough for it to fit, because he needs to be around 26 pounds, 12-ish kilograms, and I think our center is 83 centimeters long. So yes, adult kidneys into babies.
He's almost there.
He's almost
a few pounds, couple centimeters.
Yes. Next one. What made you choose Taylor over Billy to be tested as donor first?
Let me answer this.
Yeah, I feel like you get a little bit of hate over this.
Yeah, so we knew right away, just from like a simple Google search, that in order to donate a kidney, you have to have the same blood type, and me and Sully don't.
Yep.
And I prayed a lot that it would be me, and it couldn't be.
It definitely wasn't like that he didn't want it to. Like, he really wanted to.
And I know that's easy to say because I'm not doing it, but like,
he would have.
I gave up my career in my house, and I feel like I've shown that I would give up my kidney too.
Yeah, easy. Yeah. But yeah, it really is blood type. So you have A positive blood, and I'm O positive, and Sully's O positive. Yeah. So from the get-go, it was going to be me if either of us could do it.
Yeah, it probably turned out better that way because Taylor's...
My health is overall better.
Better, yeah.
Yeah, blood pressure is a little bit trickier for you than for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so...
I just have some genetic things that aren't in my favor.
How big does Sully need to be to get the transplant? We kind of answered that. Around 12 kilograms, which is 26 and a half pounds, 83 centimeters long. But this changes by center, so you will see people getting kidneys smaller than that, but Seattle Children's, who we go through, is one of the top 5 kidney transplant centers, and that's their rules. So we follow their rules.
And their success rate is 100%, so I'm just going to do what they tell us to do.
Exactly. So if we have to wait a little longer, but it's safer, we'll do it. How will it work with both Taylor and Sully in the hospital at the same time?
That's a funny question.
A lot on Billy. So another one is, like, will you guys be in 2 different hospitals for surgery and initial recovery? So yes, we will be in different hospitals, and how it works is I have to go to like an adult hospital and Sully will be at a children's hospital.
Luckily they're 5 minutes from each other.
Yes, that's so cool that it's probably planned, but they're both in Seattle, and so I'll be at UW, University of Washington Medical Center, and then Sully will be at Children's. They actually start my surgery first, but we will be admitted for Sully first, so back up, I guess. We'll go in the night before for Sully. He'll do his last dialysis run in the hospital. Once we wake up and go from there, me and my parents are going to go to UW. I will be admitted, get prepped for surgery, go back to the OR, and then once they've confirmed that they got the kidney, it's at Children's, it's a great kidney that they want for Sully, then they'll start his surgery. So we'll only be under the same time for like a little bit. Like my surgery will mostly be over before Sully's is started. But they literally put the kidney in an ambulance and drive it from UW to Children's, from OR to OR at the same time, basically.
For those of you that don't know, I have stress-induced alopecia.
Yeah. It's with this
in the
big
back of my head, and I have like a white circle in my beard. And I'm not trying to say that my situation's any harder than what they're going to go through, because theirs is obviously harder, but...
He keeps telling me he's going to be bald when I see him after
I'm thinking,
surgery.
like, before we do your surgery, might as well just shave my head. So it's not like a shock when you wake up and that's gone.
No, I don't like that idea.
It's going to fall out.
But yeah, so Billy's going to stay with Sully, and my parents are going to stay with me. My initial like recovery in the hospital, if things go like according to the plan, is around 3-4 days, and then I can be discharged, and then I'll go to Children's and just stay there, which I'm a little bit nervous for, because if you've ever stayed the night like in the hospital, you literally don't sleep. And I already did this recovery once from a C-section when we had Sully and we were inpatient for about a month, and it's really, I mean, it's not easy. And so
and he'll be in the ICU.
Yeah, so he'll be in the ICU, which means like a lot more consistent care. And then I will be also recovering from surgery, sleeping on the pull-out bed. Maybe sleeping some nights at a hotel to take care of myself too. Yeah, so really Billy's going to be handling a lot of Sully.
Yeah, but I've talked to somebody already about coming with. Someone that we trust a lot and has been there for Sully from the beginning.
Yeah, so that you don't have to.
He could calm me down a little bit.
Praise God we live in modern times for like FaceTime and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be an intense week for sure.
I'm going to try to film some of it if I can.
I think so. I think even just
I'm going to be waiting around a lot.
For our memories, it'll be really cool just to have those things documented. And then as far as recovery goes, that's another question. Like, what does recovery look like for each of you? So for me, like I said, like those 4 days in the hospital, and then they say like 3 to 6 months before you feel like back to your old self. For 3 months, you can't hold more than, I think it was like 10 to 15 pounds. So it's very similar to like a C-section recovery.
You don't even get to hold Sully.
I don't get to hold Sully.
Well, you could hold him.
Yeah, we could like sit in next to me.
Or on you, if I handed him to you.
Like, hold him. I think a lot about the time I get to see him first. After surgery. I'm gonna weep. So even just like thinking about it makes me cry.
And then for my recovery, it's a lot of steroid creams and steroid injections to get my hair to grow back.
Billy copes through humor. For Sully, his recovery, this is like if things go perfect. This is what they've told us. He has 3 to 4 days in the ICU. And that's when they basically completely wipe out his immune system, so his body can't reject the organ, or is less likely to reject the organ. Then he goes to like the kidney transplant floor, which is where we normally stay at Children's, so we're more familiar with that unit. And he'll be there for minimum of 2 weeks. And then from there we move to transplant housing, which is part of like Children's, and so it's up in Seattle near there. And we'll stay there for 1 to 3 months, just depending on how things are going, because they do lab work for him and appointments twice a week for a long time, just to make sure things are like being handled if they rise or all those different things, and that the kidney's doing what it needs to do. So it's definitely like, it's a long process.
Yeah, but for each person, Taylor's losing a kidney, so her body's like, has to recover.
It actually grows my other kidney bigger.
Yeah, so she's gonna feel worse. Sully will immediately feel better, because he's going from
kidney failure,
like he has like pretty much no function. But so whatever function dialysis is doing for him, plus what a kidney does. So he'll feel better once all the wounds and stuff are healed up. But her body has to figure out how to survive. So she's not going to feel that good.
Another one that we've gotten is, will Sully get the duplex or the regular kidney?
So that's kind of why we thought she was going to be disqualified, because at first we heard that UW would only approve her to give the duplex kidney.
And if you don't know like what the duplex kidney part is, when we did my CT scan for the donor workup, one of my kidneys has a duplex system is what it's called. So it's like 2 arteries, almost looks like 2 kidneys kind of like fused together, and it's double in size. And so...
And the ureter's actually... There's a ureter from each of the 2 that fuse together, and then they wide together and then go into the bladder.
And so UW had said, yeah, you can only donate that one. But then they put all the surgeons in a room, UW and Children's, and they were like, why are we only considering that one? Because it is my most functioning kidney too. Mm-hmm. It has the greater function, it's bigger, it's not like positioned weird, because sometimes if you have that, like the way your ureter connects to your bladder can be weird, there can be reflux, and they tested me for all those things and I don't have any of that. And so it is a healthy kidney, it's just bigger. Mm-hmm. And so they decided, well, let's keep her with the function that she has. Because I actually have like 120% kidney function.
Yeah, it's almost like God knew what he was doing.
Yeah. And so I'm going to keep my duplex kidney. And then Sully's going to get my regular kidney. And so that will fit better for him. And then I get to keep more function. So I basically keep 1.5 kidneys, and my son gets...
And Sully just gets a normal transplanted kidney.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
It's really cool how God worked that out. And I had no idea I had a duplex kidney before any of this.
Yeah.
How long will this kidney last for Sully?
That's the question of a lifetime.
Yeah.
I ain't going to put limits on God. But the record, we've heard all sorts of numbers. The highest we've ever heard someone say that they witnessed was like 50 years.
But that's super rare.
That's very rare. I think it's like 15 to 20 is good. And then like really good is like up to 25. Mm-hmm. So he might need a couple.
Yeah, in his life. And a living donation typically lasts longer. So that's why we wanted to go that route. So he's more likely to get to that like 20, 25 years.
And a lot of it depends on him.
And
if he gets 10 years down the road and he's refusing to take his meds, which, I mean, I'll get him down.
Yeah.
But once he's on his own,
yeah.
You know.
As a young adult.
If he's not doing the thing, and if he's eating a bunch of McDonald's, then...
Yeah.
Which...
We'll do our part, but then, you know.
Yeah. I gotta stop eating fast food. I need to eat super healthy, so Sully eats super healthy.
Yeah. Well, like, we're not going to be, when he's 20 years old, controlling all of his food choices and making him take his meds.
He's never
like, we will train him up to know how to do those things, but he's going to be his own person. Will he have to be on transplant meds for the rest of his life? Yes.
Yeah, the transplant meds. That's a weird...
Immunosuppressants.
Yeah.
So basically...
Anti-rejection.
Yeah. How it was explained to us is when you have... Your immune system is what fights off, like, a foreign thing in your body. And so, if it's an organ, it's a foreign organ. And they basically explained it like there's 2 different armies. And so there's 2 different immunosuppressants he'll be on for life that suppress each of the armies from rejecting. Yeah.
What's crazy, though, about anti-rejection meds, we learned this from our doctor, is that it's the only drug that will stop your body from rejecting a foreign organ, but it also destroys the organ.
And that's why the transplants don't last.
Yeah, so what they're working on now, which our doctor said could be sometime in our life or in 200 years, is an anti-rejection med that doesn't attack your kidneys or your...
doesn't damage the organ.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird that they figured that out.
Can you talk about the process Mama will go through before surgery? Basically, all I have left is a 2-week appointment. It's like 2 weeks before the surgery. And they kind of recheck everything, reassess me, and then if I don't pass that, the surgery's off, which is scary.
Yeah.
If I do pass that, then we just, go through the actual process of the surgery. There's certain things, like I can't take certain medications.
NSAIDs.
NSAIDs? Yeah.
NSAIDs.
No, like, electrolyte or energy drinks, and that'll be, like, forever afterwards, but I don't...
No more Gatorade.
...really do that anyways.
Except they don't... Gatorade's
not even real, so that doesn't really count. But, like, liquid IVs or things like that. Oh, no, like, over-the-counter supplements that you might find. They have to, like, approve those for ingredients, because some of them can be toxic to your kidneys.
And for pain meds, pretty much the only thing she can take is Tylenol.
Yeah, which... I don't know, like, being pregnant, that's kind of all you can take, and it just doesn't really work as well. So that's kind of a downside, but, I mean, that's a small price to pay, I feel like, to save your kid's life.
Is that all the questions?
That's all the questions. Anything else? Should we address, like, how we're feeling about it? I feel like...
Well, I just want to say, like, as we're making this video, we're obviously, like, positive about it, and we're not sad. Mm-hmm. Because this is the next step in our life. This is the season we're in. This is what we have to embrace. Mm-hmm. But, like, we're not, like, robots. Like we've already processed a lot of the
Yeah.
things. It's something we process daily.
Yeah, like, am I scared for this? 1,000%. Is he scared for this? Yes. We have a joke in our family that we're going to get joked, and we should stop saying that.
I know.
But it's just like...
That's my biggest fear.
It's never easy, like, when there's these, like, surgeries and complex medical things. But, I don't know, like, the peace of God carries you through.
Well, it's a miracle, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we're looking at that. And, like, it'd be easy to look back on the last year and 3 months and complain about the whole thing, which we do sometimes.
They're definitely
But we try not to do it in front of other people. But
yeah.
Really, like, Sully's whole life has been beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine life any other way.
I write devos for our church sometimes, and I was writing about how we look at the wilderness seasons of life as like punishments or things that, you know, aren't supposed to happen, and God must have left us and all of this, but in this really sweet way, it's God drawing you near into a time of like spiritual discipline and relying on Him. And there are so many gifts that we've learned of how you can rely on the Lord and like have this unshakable faith that can carry you the rest of your life. Like, there are so many things that I can hold on to through this, of like how the Lord gave me this duplex kidney and how He's been with us every step of the way in dialysis and all of this. And like, that becomes my testimony that I can walk in more confidence throughout the rest of my life. And that's a gift.
Yeah.
But it is not easy. And there are, like, even yesterday, like, I went to bed at 9 p.m. because I was just like, I'm so exhausted from all of this stuff.
And you still have two and a half kidneys.
And I still got my 2.5 kidneys.
So imagine your tiredness when you only have 1.5.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I mean, until it grows. But.
It's gonna be raw. It's gonna be hard. But all that to say, we understand that we are walking in a season that God has picked just for us, and
a very unique one.
A very unique one, and that's why we're sharing this story.
But we don't expect anybody to understand at all, because I mean, there's people out there that understand. There's people out there that have way worse.
Yeah. We talk to them a lot on social media.
But like, even just how specific, like when we hear of these other kids with the same thing Sully had in their transplant, like their stories are totally different. Yeah, so like, there's things that some of the kids we've seen have done that's like, I can't imagine doing that. Mm-hmm. But then they're looking at us like, well, I can't imagine doing that. It's like, it's just so different. Like, no one's ever done exactly what Sully's done.
Yep.
But we're blessed enough that we get to both be home.
And I will say, like, through this, our marriage has never been better. Like, I literally admire you in every way. Blocking my face.
RKO!
I don't know what that means. But yeah, I'm thankful we get to do it together. I'm thankful for our boy, and I'm ready for this to happen.
I have one last thing to say.
Oh no.
If you're not married and you want to get married, find someone who would give their organ to your kid. Because if they wouldn't,
first date question right there.
Because if they wouldn't, then I would like to think that most parents would step up for their kid. But I know there's a lot of parents out there that don't step up for their kids by any means at all. If they say no to that question, boot them.
Okay.
If they're healthy enough. If they've got something going on, then keep them.
That derailed real quick.